Good evening. Welcome back to the Not So Perfect Bigfoot Show. I'm glad you could join us tonight. I have a really great guest tonight, but before I bring her on, I really want to give a shout out to all the people that have supported the show. Western Ohio Bigfoot, go check them out. Great guys. Mason Dixon Bigfoot and Paranormal, check them out. Great guys. Old Bear's Den, Dirt Road Bigfoot, Medoc Bigfoot. All of these people have really stepped in, supported the show, gave me some good advice along the way, and I just wanted to give a shout out to them. Tonight's guest, we have Tara Stefanie. Tara was born in Pennsylvania. She's been in the woods since she was a child. I believe that I titled this show right, Into the Wild. It fits her to a T. She is definitely a nature lover. She's not scared to get boots on the ground. She is the Assistant State Director of Central Pennsylvania Bigfoot Project, and she's also on the podcast, The Bigfoot Project. I'm going to bring Tara in. Hang on, because she has got some good things to tell, and I think you're going to enjoy the show.
Hi,
Hey,
everybody. Hi.
Hey. Well, welcome to the show. So we were talking before the show aired about your journey, and your journey is really important as a researcher. Where do you want to start? I think that's important.
I think I'll just start off as a little kid. Just being out in the woods, camping with family members, being very. I was one of the ones. I was a child that had to be leashed as a child because I was very inquisitive about everything, and I wanted to explore as much as I possibly could. So, yes, I was a leashed child, but when I was older and got to go camping with family, my aunt, my uncle, and my cousins, and I got to go explore and see what there was out in the woods, and I just loved it. I loved playing in the creeks, anywhere that I could find an animal. I mean, I was there. I loved being outdoors. And as a child growing up, when I would go camping with my aunt, my uncle, and my cousins, I would hear things at night. Sometimes during the day when we were camping, but during the nighttime, when the fire was going, it really seemed to be more of vocals and wood knocks that I would hear. And I would be like, Uncle Ben, what is that? What is that? And he's like, oh, don't worry about it. It's just a bunch of drunk kids, drunk people. Don't worry. Nothing's going to happen, blah, blah, blah. But I always sensed like something was out there. Like I felt like something was watching us. But Uncle Ben said it was fine, so I wouldn't worry about it. But I sensed that it just wasn't normal. And so fast forward a little bit. I'm now in college. I mean, I stayed out in the woods. I camped out in the woods like all during high school and middle school. Like whenever I could go out there, my friends and I would be out there camping. However, though, when I got into college, and Finding Bigfoot series came out, and they came to the Kinzua Dam area and did an investigation, everything clicked for me. The whoops, the howls, the tree knocks, everything that Finding Bigfoot was talking about, I had heard about. I grew up listening to this, and everything just clicked. And from then on, I'm like, whoa, like they're in our area. Like I've known about this for my whole life and I never knew it. And I kind of just put it, the thought in the back burner. And I had been at Kinzua. I lived at Kinzua Dam, 20 minutes from there, where my house is in Allegheny National Forest. And a little bit of history of the Kinzua Dam. Was Seneca Indian territory. Chief Corn Planter and George Washington had a treaty that would be their land forever. And but then when President Kennedy came along and he wanted to build up the United States with infrastructure and build dams and this and that, I mean, the dam was planned because of how much flooding was happening in our area and down along the river of Kinzua. Like there was the huge Johnstown flood, and it also Pittsburgh area. So I mean, the dam in thought was, you know, needed to help prevent flooding. So the treaty was broken that Chief Corn Planter had made. Everybody was displaced. Cemeteries, like a lot of the Indians ended up going to Onaville, New York area, and their reservation was moved up there. But there is a supposed curse on the Kinzua area. The Kinzua Dam is called Lake Perfidy because of the treaty that was broken. There's a lot of strange things that do happen in the Kinzua Dam area besides just Bigfoots. There's been Wendigo sightings, there's been dogman sightings. Strange things happen, strange noises happen. You can't see what's going on with like what noises there are. But it can be very creepy at times. And you do feel like you're being watched a lot. But just that little side bit of the Kinzua Dam area. Back to college and Finding Bigfoot show. I was dating someone at the time. I had moved back. I'd gone to school, college, so I'd moved out of the area for a little bit and came back home. And I had my first, since I was a little kid, I had an experience happen, and I was showing my then boyfriend at the time the Jake's Rocks area at Kinzua Dam. He lived out of state, and so I was just showing him around, and I was sitting on a rock wall, and I started sensing rocks being thrown at me. And they started off small at first, but I could hear them hitting the wall near me. And then the hair on the back of my neck stood up, and I'm like, what is going on? And then another rock came, and it was closer and it was bigger. And I was like, we have to go. And he thought I was insane because I'm like, this is Bigfoot. We have to go. And he's like, what in the world are you talking about? That's not real, blah, blah, blah. And then another rock came hurtling and flew back right by his head. And he's like, okay, I guess we're going now. So I always knew that they were there, but I never was interested in going and looking for them until it was September 10th. There we go. It was September 10th of 2022, the day after my 40th birthday. And I was like, I need to get involved with something. I need something else in my life. I need something to get me out there.
Wait. The day after your what birthday?
40th birthday.
What the heck do you take? I pegged you to be in your 20s.
I am 41.
Give me some of that, please. I'm sorry. You're beautiful. Carry on. She doesn't look 40, does she, guys? I would say mid-20s. You do not look. Oh my.
Thank you. But the day after my 40th birthday, I was on Facebook, and I'm like, I really need something in my life to I need to go explore and adventure, and I really need something. And the Pennsylvania Bigfoot Project group popped up. And so I was looking for the person that was over my area because they were in counties at the time. And I found somebody. Thank you. But I got a hold of the person that was over my county. And he immediately messaged me, and he was like, you're the person I've been looking for. Because I just kind of gave him a little bit of an intro about myself and why I wanted, to help out. And from there on, I've been running. since. Like he and I were going on investigations. We were going out. We were grabbing people and listening to their stories. And I started realizing as things were going along, I kind of sense that I have something within me that not a lot of people have. Um, I'll explain more in a little bit, but I had my first actual sighting. It was October or November of 2022. It was at Jake's Rocks, Kinzua Dam. It was the second overlook. Before I saw the Bigfoot, I saw orbs. I saw a red orb, and it went red, white, white, white. And then I saw the Bigfoot, but it was a silhouette. But I could tell it was a Bigfoot. It was a tall creature. It looked just like Bigfoot pictures that I've seen. It walked from one tree to another, and then it was gone. That was it.
Do you think
Well,
orbs are related to Bigfoot,
hmm?
or do you think orbs are sometimes related, or do you think it's energy from the land where Bigfoot are
I
comfortable?
I think the orbs have something to do with Bigfoot. I've talked with other people that have seen orbs and had had a Bigfoot experience shortly after seeing the orbs. And this isn't the first time that I've seen orbs. It's usually whenever I see an orb, there's going to be a Bigfoot. I've seen a lot of orbs. About 15 minutes later after seeing that first Bigfoot, something caught my eye again, and I think it's because I saw orbs, like I saw some kind of light, and I saw another Bigfoot walk from one tree to another tree, and I booked it. Like I ran to where it was because I wanted to see this thing. So I ran. It was probably about 15, 20 feet. I ran and I stopped. It wasn't there. Nowhere there. I was looking for holes. I was looking like all around, like where the heck did this thing just go? And I've gone my electric personality. Thank you. Um I didn't see it, and I've been back to that spot. And what's crazy is that if you were to continue going, you would have fallen down a hill. Like I didn't realize how close I was to falling down a hill when I went back and checked everything in the daylight. Um, I've had like that was my very first sighting, and I've been to other places here in Pennsylvania where I've had vocals, um, tree knocks. I've not seen orbs, but I've come to learn now that when I see orbs, I'm going to see a Bigfoot or there is a Bigfoot around. I think it's just the energy that they put off, honestly, but I just feel like that's something that some people can see and some people can't. Um, but I became really involved with Pennsylvania Bigfoot Project. I loved going and traveling and seeing, like doing investigations, learning as much as I possibly can. I went to Prince, well, I was doing an investigation in Renovo, Pennsylvania, and we were actually looking out of somebody's apartment window up on a hillside, and you could see a nest. He had seen them building this nest, like he saw figures moving on the hillside. And so we ended up walking over there, and I had rocks and stones being thrown at me the closer I got to the nest. But I didn't feel threatened. Like I don't ever feel like threatened in any way when I'm around them. I feel as if they're protectors, like they're watching you to keep you safe. And I'll get into that in a little bit. But we saw them in their nest, and their faces, you could see their faces sticking out of the nest, and it was crazy how human-like they looked. I mean, they had hair on their face, but they were so human looking. And that just totally blew my mind. And now, mind you, I'm still learning about a lot of Bigfoot stuff. And so my mind's just blown at all this stuff. And we went to the Pennsylvania Bigfoot Project had a camp out at Prince Gallitzin State Park. I think it's a state park in Pennsylvania. And we had orbs, a lot of orbs. We saw orbs floating in the trees. We saw orbs floating around. And there were 3 Bigfoot that we had seen. I'm not going to get too much into this, but it was very spiritual, very awakening as to what happened when we were there. I guess that could be another story for another day, but there were quite a few people here that witnessed what happened, and that was big. There were at least, I think, 6 people sitting watching what happened, and so all of us witnessed what happened. But as things have continued to go along with delving into the Bigfoot world, I've gone to lots of conferences. I've met lots of wonderful people. Just recently, I went to Land Between the Lakes in Kentucky, and I met some of the greatest people I've ever met in my life. I could not get over how many groups of Bigfooters came together and the vibe that there was. Like, everyone was happy. Like, I get chills thinking about it. Everyone was happy. Everybody was talking about experiences, stories, like just talking with these people. I got to meet different podcast hosts, and it was just an amazing time with all of these people. And I actually had an 18-inch footprint in my campsite. It was just a few feet from my car. And earlier that morning, which I didn't know there were things called booger dogs. I didn't know that they were called boogers down south.
Boogers.
And
Yes.
yeah, I didn't know they were called boogers, so that kind of took a little getting used to. But there was a gentleman who had a dog. His name is Ken. He's from Flat Rock Burgers, Rock, I think.
Yeah, he's in here.
Yeah, he is. Ken's in here. Awesome. I see Pat was in here too. But I loved his dog Boo. And Boo started alerting early Saturday morning that there was something out around. And then we found the 18th Salt Fork in August.
Old Bear has sent you an invitation.
Thank you. But there's an 18, or was it 18 or 18 and a half? It was a big footprint by my car.
Oh.
And Boo had alerted earlier that morning, which was a little bit crazy. Well, then the next morning when we were leaving, I found a rock. Like, my headlights were on this table, and like a picnic table.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, what is that rock? I'm like, I don't remember seeing it there. Because I had some rocks holding a garbage bag, but I didn't see this random rock. So I got out of my car and grabbed it real quick. And I looked at it, and it's a dragonfly fossil.
Wow.
On this rock. And I'm like, oh, I think I was gifted. So I keep that rock with me. Like, that's one of my most prized possessions, is that rock. But recently, however, I just got back from a camping expedition. I was at Mount Davis, Pennsylvania for about a week, and then I went to Salt Fork for over the weekend and met up with the podcast crew. I'm involved with the Bigfoot Podcast, and that's with Mike Hartman, Debbie Robinson, Alyssa Robinson, and then Nikki's Night Watch, Nikki Pollard. She is great. She does videos and gets scary stories for us.
Oh, Awesome.
But anyways, we were there hanging out. Nikki unfortunately wasn't able to make it, but we had a lot of fun at Salt Fork. Oh, yes, it was a very cool gift. But anyways, at Mount Davis, I was with Dan Benoit, Ron Howes, and her Faith Starr, and also Drew. I can't remember Drew's last name, but we were all camping out. And Sunday, I started my monthly. So that's just great when you start off your camping trip like that. But anyways, the story that goes along with that is pretty crazy. I will say though, before I get into that story, Sunday we were hiking and we got a little lost. Like, not just a little. We got majorly lost. And it was starting, like, dark was gonna happen in a couple hours, and none of us had on any. We were in pants, and well, I was in shorts. I didn't think we were going on that long of a hike, but we ended up off trail searching after some prints and some Bigfoot prints we saw, but we also saw some smaller prints too, that may have been like a kid or a juvenile. But anyways, we were following these prints. Well, I don't know how, but we ended up away from the creek bed and the mountain laurel, the pricker bushes, rocks, and these were gargantuan rocks, like crawling over these damn things.
Wow.
And I was sitting there, like, I had given up. I was sitting on this rock. I didn't cry. I was very proud of myself that I did not cry. However, while I was sitting there, I was like, God, send me a Bigfoot. I was like, please send me a Bigfoot to pick me up and carry me out of here, because I don't know if I can walk anymore. Like, I can't make it. Well, we stood up. We're like, all right, we're gonna go. We think we know the right way to go now, so we're gonna go that way. We heard a whoop.
Oh, you had a sign.
Yeah. We followed the whoops out of the woods. They guided us out of the woods.
Wow.
Got to where we needed.
So you followed the vocals?
Yeah, we followed the vocals out of the woods.
Well, you got your answer.
Mm-hmm. We did. Yep. God sent the Bigfoot to get us out.
So
go ahead.
Before you go into the next part of the story, I'm actually glad that you are brave enough. Brian Barber, I love you, buddy. Brian says, hey, Victoria and Tara. I think it's well, welcome to the Not So Perfect Bigfoot Show. Miss Tara.
Yep.
I think you're brave going here because it's always talked behind, closed doors, and even the men talk about it. But I think that, it's really boots on the ground that you're just going to put it there. And I just want to say thank you in advance because it's natural and you are a woman and it does have an effect on things.
Yes, it does. So the next day, Monday, Faith and I went for a hike. And the guys went off and did their own thing on another hike. We're like, all right, cool. And what Faith and I were actually doing was we were gifting. Because we also had ravens around us, talking to us. Wow. I don't know if ravens and Bigfoots are entwined in any way, but we did have ravens with us the whole time that we were camping. But we were gifting the ravens. I forget what happened with the ravens, but we felt like we needed to gift them, and we also needed to gift the Bigfoots, thanking them for getting us back to our campsite. We came back from gifting everybody, and I got back to the campsite, and I was kind of like, I just want to stay here and rest because the hike before really kind of did me, and the day before. So I'm sitting there and I'm just resting. And oh, Winnie, hi baby girl.
No, dogs are allowed. Hey Winnie, everybody say hey to Winnie. Winnie. Yes, dogs are so allowed on the show with you.
Okay.
Cuckoo clocks.
So everybody had gone off, and I had walked over to my car. Now, before I tell you guys what I found, I'll let you know I was urinating by my car. And that, you know, there's blood in the urine. Everyone knows how a menstrual cycle works. I walked over, and there was a branch with flowers tucked into my doorknob. And I had said to myself, while Faith and I were taking our hike together, I said to myself, I wonder if I'll get gifted like I did at LBL. Like, that would be cool. So when I found this branch with flowers on it, I was like, oh, well, okay, that's cool. Thanks. And so I took them away and went back into the camp, and I heard something say, put it in your tent. And I'm like, well, that was kind of strange, but okay. So I put it in my tent next to where I sleep. And later that night, when I went to the bathroom again, well, it was later that afternoon, I went to the bathroom and I stood up and I turned around, and you could see foot impressions in the grass, like in the weeds, because there was tall weeds and you could see where weeds were pushed down. There's 2 foot impressions, like where a Bigfoot or something had bent over and put the branch on my tree, on my doorknob. And I realized what was happening at that time, that it was like a marriage proposal or a courting, like a courtship type thing.
The scent, you marked your territorial, and they came.
Yes. I instantly freaked out because I honestly thought I was going to be abducted. I was so petrified. I ran and I grabbed it out of my tent, and I am like, I need to get rid of this branch. So Faith grabbed it and she's like, let me take care of it. And she threw it in the fire. And she made sure, like, whatever was watching, like, saw it go in the fire. Like, and I said out loud, I'm like, I am not interested. I don't want any part of this. I'm like, thank you, but no. And I beta male courting. Okay, thank you. So, but later that night, I also had something really, I've found, like, I'm going back to what I said, that I found that I have things within me that other people don't. I'm empathic, and I feel like I may be growing stronger with that.
Explain that.
An empath can feel things that other people can't feel. I can walk into a room and I can read a room and I can feel the energy and decide if I want to stay in that room or if I want to leave. I know if by looking at somebody or by standing next to somebody, I can tell if they're anxious, if they're sad, if they're mad, if they're happy. I can feel their energies. I sometimes know things are going to happen before they happen. And just things like that.
Okay.
I can sometimes
kind of picking up vibes, really good vibes off people, reading their energy.
Mm-hmm.
Good deal.
So I somehow, I don't know what forces came into play this night. I don't know what happened. I don't know if it was the way the stars were aligned. I don't know. But somehow I just knew that there were 5 tall Bigfoots. They were brown and they were watching over us. Earlier in the night by my car, about 30 yards away from my car, I saw a white Bigfoot, and Ron saw its hand come out from behind a tree.
Mm.
And we think that was the Bigfoot that was
Winnie.
they think that was the Bigfoot that may have been courting me, like it may have been a rogue Bigfoot. But I asked for protection from the Bigfoots, and they kept me protected all week. The 5 Bigfoots,
Wow.
the 5 tall brown ones. I also saw a gray one, out in the woods. I knew there was a safety zone, and I knew there was a no-go zone. I knew this was another thing. I woke up one morning, there was a protection ring around the camp of trees. There was a barrier of dead trees around our camp.
That happened while you were asleep?
Mm-hmm.
Incredible.
When I asked for protection, I woke up the next morning and that was there. That circle.
Wow.
If I stepped out of that circle, I became
Free game.
anxious, scared. I had to stay in that circle. We tried to walk down a trail. I walked out of the circle and we walked down a trail a little that was right by our campsite, and I was petrified. Like my legs were shaking. There was something walking next to me the whole time. Like we could hear it. And I couldn't get back to the campsite fast enough to feel safe again. But
he says that's amazing. I don't know if you thought it was amazing at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But you did make it out to tell your story.
Mm-hmm. Those Bigfoots kept me safe the whole time from what was out there, what was trying to get me. They kept me safe. And I knew every night they would give a knock to let me know that they were there. They would knock every night. They would knock when they left. They would leave, like when they saw us up early in the morning, get a knock. They're leaving. And then later that night, I'd get another knock, let me know that they're there. And it was right before dark.
Wow. Now on this trip, did you see any orbs?
You know, what I saw was it looked like static in the trees. When you're looking at static on a television, mm-hmm. I saw that in the trees all around. Which was weird because I'd never had that happen before. I didn't see actual orbs this time, but I saw it looked like static. And I also saw, because at first I thought they were lightning bugs, but it was too little to be a lightning bug. But it was almost like these little pinpricks of white flashing everywhere.
Wow.
And I don't know what those were.
Have you ever heard of Penny Rummel? Okay, she was on one of my shows. She's also a MUFON investigator, but she wrote a book. She experienced orbs a lot. Just contact me or either go back through the shows, make contact with her. And when it comes to the orbs, I think you and her could share some really good information. She's wonderful. She has her hair cut short like you too.
Awesome.
Yeah. Okay. So you found a circle and you're seeing white lights and like static. That I've never heard it described as static, but I know the mood can change, and there's a lot of strange things in the woods. And I've always said it's the energy of the land, but that's just my opinion. It could be the energy of the people, the energy of what's going on. And I know we were in the woods the other weekend and our dog just wigged out and he got between two campers, and he never does that. He got
Yeah.
between David and Lynn out there, and I mean there was something out there we just didn't know what it was, and so,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so yeah, I think you had a lot going on there. But the thing is, you're here to tell your story,
Mm-hmm.
and I think with you picking up on energies like that,
Mm-hmm.
um, I think you knew something was up, and you really needed to watch yourself out there during that time.
Mm-hmm. I
And
definitely did.
yeah, David said Penny is good people. She helped him out a lot. All right, so the circle. Did you the circle of the trees? The seeing the lights out in the forest,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not sure what that could have been, but I'm not an expert. But seeing the static in the trees, there was some energy out there.
Mm-hmm. There definitely was energy. It was after it. Bigfoot from the ones who built the. I think it was a different Bigfoot from the ones who built the protection. I feel like it was a rogue Bigfoot, honestly. I feel like it was a rogue Bigfoot. That's what we were thinking at the campsite. It was a rogue Bigfoot.
Uh,
The knocks that we heard, honestly, like, because you're used to hearing several knocks, we were only hearing one single knock. Every time we heard a knock, it was one single knock.
Does anyone have any idea what one single knock might could be? Do you have any idea what did it mean to you, Tara?
It was weird because I'm not used to just hearing one single knock at a time. That's the first time I've ever heard just one single knock. Even when we went on hikes away from the campsite, like I was okay to leave the campsite in a vehicle and go to other places.
Mhm.
We actually did go to a trail that we found. We actually followed big footprints into this trail. It was by a dock. But you could see like it was, we found some open mussel shells or clam shells. And the big footprints that we saw, yes, old bear, it was exactly what it was.
How long?
The time that we were camping, we were hiking on this trail, we heard a single knock and we started going back to where we heard it. And then we heard a knock from another another area. And we're like, okay, well, they're just letting the group know, yep, that we were there. And so we ended up leaving because we didn't want to upset them in any way. So we ended up leaving. But yeah, the prints that we found leading into this trail were 19 inches tall and 11 inches wide. But that was what we saw. And I actually, I forgot to do this. I need to find out how far this was. My
Not
calculator. I actually found prints from where you could tell it was running, and I forgot to get the running stride. So it was like 10 and a half. Oh, hold on. Go back. It was 14 of my
David told
boots times 10 equals what? 140. So 140 inches stride.
wow, between the stride. Wow.
For running. We found where and you could see where their toes went in the ground and hit down on the other side where they were running because they had just knocked.
So let me ask you this, and I wanted to ask you this a while ago as you were leading up to, from being a child. How did you feel when you found your first footprint? How did it hit you? How that was a game changer.
Yeah, wow, I still remember my first footprint, and I was ecstatic. And it was a trail in mud. It was a muddy logging road that we were on. And here it was in McKean County, Pennsylvania, muddy logging road. You could see the mud, like the tracks in the mud for the adult. And then you saw literally like a smaller person's foot, like an adult and a baby were like walking together. But the other weird thing is that there were coyote prints next
Yeah.
to those Bigfoot prints. I don't know if they were hunting the coyote. I don't know if the coyote is
Scavengers.
an animal to that. Like we have dogs. Like, do they have coyotes? I don't know what the whole correlation is with Bigfoots and coyotes, but there were coyote prints with those Bigfoot prints.
I think coyotes are scavengers too.
Mm-hmm.
But I've heard everything from coyotes help them hunt, to they befriend them. Sometimes they eat them, but the two always seem to go together.
Yeah, they do.
And every once in a while, if you get the coyotes going, you're hearing the coyotes going off, and every once in a while you hear this guttural, just long, just mumble guttural. I can't explain. I've heard it once, and it was.
I've heard it too.
It's just weird, but it's a fact. The two just go together.
They do. I haven't figured out that correlation, but they go together somehow.
So you found the footprints with that stride. You said it was what, 100 and
that stride for running was 120 inches.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Old Bear's Den said coyotes have been reported as personal pets.
And see, I was wondering about that. I feel that. Like, I feel like that's true.
And David said they're like lions and hyenas. David, if lions and hyenas are, you know what? The hyena thing ain't so far-fetched, because a lot of descriptions are hyena-like when it comes to the dog man. And some of the Bigfoot, David believes Bigfoot's more dog-like than, typical Bigfoot-like. But Blue Eyes says she has a recent audio of that. That would be nice to hear. Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay, so you found the tracks down there. Do you want to keep going, or you want some questions right now?
I can do some questions. I mean, I just remember finding those tracks, and I mean, we left the woods after that. I stayed long enough. I was in an area where I felt safe to figure out how long it was for those, and just by using my foot. Okay, thanks, Pat. But I measured it and I left. I'm like, we're done. We're going. And that's when when I've gone places, I have been gifted feathers. I get gifted feathers quite often. And that's when I found my raven feather. Yeah, I found a raven. Well, I've actually found a bunch of raven feathers, which is never. Oh, yes, I've seen red eye shine. Oh, definitely, yes. I've seen red, I've seen white, I've seen yellow, I've seen green, different colors of eye shine.
But you were going back. I'm sorry, but when they pop up, I want to get them up there. But you said you saw raven feathers, and you never see the ravens.
I've never seen ravens, but until this trip. Like, there were, and I'm pretty sure the ravens were actually part of, they were for Faith, one of the girls that was camping with us. Her mother's name was Raven, and her mother's deceased. And the ravens really seemed to, like, it was strange because she could, like, make a noise to them and they would respond back to her. When I found the raven feathers, she instantly knew. She's like, Tara, those are your feathers. They gifted those to you.
Wow. Ron said that, I think that's really sweet. I've always heard the blue jays and the cardinals.
They will start knocking slow and pick up the pace the closer you get. Okay. I did not know that, Brian. Thank you.
Brian, I'm a bad host. I'm making Tara read her own comments.
It's okay. You're fine.
Brian says, have you ever heard one mimic someone snoring?
No, I have not, Jeff. I mean, there were people snoring in the campsite, that's for sure. But I swear I heard one say yoo-hoo before. Hi, Mary. it sounded like one said yoo-hoo while we were camping, because we had said yoo-hoo to one another a few times or whatever, just joking around in the campsite. We had so much fun joking around while we were camping. I mean, amongst everything else that was happening, we had to keep the jokes going because that's just who we are. But we always had to keep in mind like of what was out there, but we knew certain directions were okay and other directions were just off limits when we were camping because of the feelings that I got.
Now, in your journey in Bigfoot, who do you think? I know you've had a lot of mentors, but who do you think has been a good mentor to you?
There's two that have been really good mentors to me, Mary Fabian and Mike Hartman.
Yes, they are both wonderful people. And Mike on the show, hilarious. I guess his wife let him out the closet for tonight, and he got to come on the show. And Mary has a book out. I don't have the title of her book. Let's give her a plug.
Yeah, it is. I have it right here. What I've learned about Bigfoot.
Mary Monkey Wrench Mary, where can they find it at? Just put it in the chat and we'll add it to the description. Let's see. Okay, they're just chatting back and forth. So you have two mentors. Tell me something you learned from each of them that you carry with you, because that's the important part to me.
I can't really think of anything off the top of my head.
Good listeners, help you figure it out. Always there.
Yeah, I mean, they're both always there for me. Like if I need to talk about something or exciting to tell them, they're always there for me. I mean, Mary's awesome. I spent that whole time with her and her sister Debbie at Land Between the Lakes, which she introduced me to a bunch of different people, which was an amazing. I can't wait for next year because that's just going to be awesome. But they both have really kind of helped me, I guess, condense things, like my ideas in my head, kind of help condense things down in a way. I'm not really sure how to explain that, but they always tell me, to stay open-minded and, just always stay safe is their big thing. Stay safe. Don't go by yourself. What is a big thing with Mary? Don't go by yourself.
Okay. So. I do have a question for you. I'll read it this time. Bad Vicky. Ryan Barber, does she have any things that researchers should not do in her opinion?
Just be careful of like what calls you make. Because, I mean, we don't know what they're saying. We don't always know what some things mean. And you could piss them off in a way. I mean, that's just my feeling. But unless you really want to, how do I even want to say this? If you want to have a really interesting investigation, go with a girl that's on her period. I mean, that's you ask something not to do.
Yeah, I mean, it's the truth. It's the truth.
Yeah. If you are not ready to have an experience, then if someone's on their period, don't do it because there's going to be a lot of activity. Last year, Tracy Ridge Camp Out, it's in McKean County. I was on my monthly at that time too, and there was something that stood and lurked outside. I do that on purpose, Sarah. That's awesome then, because then you're ready, like you know what you're doing. But I mean, it can scare someone badly, like somebody that's new to all of this. It could really scare somebody off. with the interactions that happen. And but yeah, at Tracy Ridge last year, I actually peed in a vacant campsite, so it wouldn't
No.
attract to our campsite. I really didn't have a choice in this campsite because there weren't any other campsites around. It was just this one. But there was something lurking outside our field of view. You could hear it, you could sense it. We got hit with infrasound. Like a bunch of us got sick with like nausea, headaches, upset stomachs. I mean, it can get. Tracy Ridge was. Oh, thank you, Mary. Tracy Ridge can. That really. I mean, we're going to do it again this year, definitely. But last year, Tracy Ridge, when I had my monthly, like there's definitely one lurking around. And I was scared during then too. I actually left early. I left early because I just didn't feel good. Like I felt horrible, and I'm like, I feel like I'm getting sick, and I should probably go home in case I was more sick in the morning. Like I thought I was getting the flu or something. And I'm like, I don't want to wake up tomorrow morning and be worse and not be able to pack down my camp or anything in that. So I left that night, a night early. Pat.
I love her. I just absolutely love her.
So much. Oh, I love her.
I do. I love her.
I love Pat.
Let's just take a minute and let me just go ahead and thank some people for jumping in and supporting us tonight. I gave them a shout out at the beginning of the show. I want to give them one more shout out because they have always supported the show and they have always been so kind to the guest. Once again, Western Ohio Bigfoot Research, Mason-Dixon Bigfoot and Paranormal Research, Old Bear's Den, Dirt Road Bigfoot, Medoc Bigfoot, Rock Hill Bigfoot, Carolina Cryptids, and we have a new one to add tonight, Pennsylvania Bigfoot Project and the Bigfoot Podcast. I was pushing that one anyway, but we're going to push you and Mary's work too. One thing before we get off subject, tell me about the Pennsylvania Bigfoot Project. What are your goals? What are your specifics that you do? Do you take sightings? Do you go out and research? Do you plan events? Yes. Let's just put it out there.
Yep. We take reports. And whichever county it's in, whoever's over that county will go investigate that report. And then after we have our report, like we've done it, we post it on the group so everyone can read about the report and what happened, why we were there. So yeah, that's a big part of what we are is taking reports and investigating them and then giving back the information of what we do. We also have get-togethers. We have campouts, and we like to have a lot of fun is what we like to do. But we love meeting up with other groups. Like that was the Land Between the Lakes. We met up with all sorts of other people and groups. I guess some like networking. But our big focus is definitely taking reports, helping people, figuring out like if they're having a nuisance Bigfoot, we try to give them advice on what to do to prevent the nuisance from happening, to make it stop, how to get people calmed down, because a lot of people, it's a shocker for them when they see Bigfoot. They can have post-traumatic stress or post-traumatic syndrome,
PTSD.
Yeah, a lot of people get that from their sightings, and so we just really want to help people and help them understand what it is that's going on and how you can help how you can learn to live with it, if moving's not an option. We actually have still some open investigations that have been ongoing for years, with people.
Rock
For
Hill Bigfoot.
Oh, I will be there. I will be there this weekend. I'll be sitting with Mary this weekend at the Bigfoot Festival. So yes, I will be there. You can find me with Mary.
Terry goes out with us sometime. He's part of the family. And he has been with us when we've had some weird stuff going on. He's good people.
Good.
So you will enjoy him. So Blue Eyed Northern says she pees all over the place. Well, okay, you just go ahead. Now, this is what Brian says. I don't support hanging your female hygiene from the trees.
No, you know.
They did this. Listen, they did this in Uwari when Finding Bigfoot did an episode. You would see CDs, the late personal hygiene products. They just, yeah. Brian, thank you. But it's the truth, buddy. It's the truth.
Yes, it is.
It is the truth. Everything's about scent and energy.
It is. And there's definitely energy. If you're one of those people that can feel energies, you can definitely tell when there's something out there.
So getting back to the I'm a scatterbrain, so we're liable to go everywhere. When we, hang on. Old Bear's Den would like you to know this.
22nd through the 20th, please. I will do some house on Friday night just for you. Oh, thank you. I'll have to wait and see because I know I'm dog sitting. So I'll have to wait and see when those people get home. And if they come home and I can go, I will definitely be there.
Me, Doc, Bigfoot. Tara,
yes, I've been to Lilydale. I've been there. It was years ago that I was there. But yes, I know about Lilydale. And I just remember a lot of people stared at me when I was there, and that's all I remember. I was like middle school aged.
Yeah, you just keep walking and hold your head up. And if all else fails, kick them in the chin bone. So, okay, let's go back to the Bigfoot, Pennsylvania Bigfoot Research Project. When you guys get someone in with PTSD, because they're not all fuzzy and friendly. Some of them, I do believe they take people out. I believe it. I believe it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
With someone that's had a terrifying experience that contacts you guys and they're really having a hard time, what kind of actions do you give? Do you go there and just help assess the situation, or do you have people you can reach out to, or they kind of have a call this number if you get a little antsy, or if we go that part of it, because it's a part of helping people.
It is. And yeah, we will go out, we'll investigate, we'll find what we can find. There's resources that people can reach out to. There is a gentleman, Ron Howes, who helps people with their PTSD. He's known as Biker Bigfoot. But yeah, he helps people with PTSD. But there's definitely a lot of places that you can reach out and go seek help with what you saw. There's some people that, I don't have specific names or anything. I haven't had to look anybody up, but there's definitely people that we can give you names to find someone near you or someone that you're comfortable to talk to. We try to help you as much as we can around your home. Like if moving's not an option, which a lot of people, that's not an option. We can help you learn to live with them, how to not make them, hey, what's up? I got to meet you, Roger, when I was at LBL. I love him. I love his stories that he reads. He puts me to bed at night sometimes. When I go, I listen to his stories that he reads.
I think I already started following him, but I'm gonna have to hit that ring bell because I haven't got a notification. Do you mind if I ask a question? Ron has a really good question that we all talk about.
Okay.
just don't always say it out loud. Has Tara had an investigation where she found out they were hoaxing?
I have not had that. I haven't
Okay.
had that, and believe me, if I ever found that out, ooh, I'd be oh my lord. You would be scared to be around me if I ever found that out. I'm a big bear when it comes to that.
Don't
My
poke the
name's I'm
bear.
actually my Native American sign is the brown bear, and my friends were actually teasing me at the camp out. They're like, "You're the F around bear and find out." That's what you are. That's what kind of bear you are.
You know the good thing about the get-togethers,
Mhm.
even if you don't have an experience, it's the people and the friends you meet along the
It
way.
is. It is. It really is.
And I had a really good conversation this weekend with a good friend that's in chat. And we were talking about the drama and, and just how people have always got to stir the pot because they're not happy in their life. But
Mhm.
the good people you meet, the friends you meet along the way, the
Yeah.
ones that are there to share the knowledge, the ones that are there, I'm a phone call away. If you get this, we'll see what we can find out about it. Those people are the best in the world, and
Mhm.
they are worth the miles you drive. They are
Mhm.
worth, pulling into camp in the middle of the night, half tired. Everybody's already in their tents, and you crawl in your tent. You wake up, everybody's there the next day. It's the
Mhm.
campfire, it's the catching up with people, and even if you don't have an experience, that is an experience, and it's the stories and what you learn out of those stories, and
Mhm.
it's you don't have to think the same about Bigfoot or Sasquatch. You may never have seen the orb, but you have seen orbs, and or you may think they're all, want to braid your hair, and this person thinks they all want to. It's all experience, and as
Mhm.
long as we keep that communication, we'll make progress out there.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
to me, if I never have another experience, it's the times that you had in the field and those
Mhm.
outings that just
Mhm.
make it worth the while. And that's
Yeah.
just,
You are
yeah.
very correct.
Old Bear says someone will have a big cup of coffee ready when you get up. That's a
Yeah.
good thing, Old Bear, because I'm grumpy.
It is a wonderful thing because I'm a coffee girl.
That's
Um,
okay. That's yeah.
and I always love it. I bring Mary coffee and creamer, and she just knows to make my coffee.
That is fabulous. That is fabulous. Do you guys have any questions for Tara before we go to kind of more into her past and her knowledge and her experiences? I think we got past the elephant in the room when we were talking about the cycle and
Mhm.
putting it out. I mean, it's talked about. Just put it out there. But
Yeah.
now, one thing that I don't like to see is when you're pulling up on camp and they're hanging from the trees. The
Yeah.
female, don't do it.
Oh,
Just
don't do that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I got to put this up. Yeah,
Need my coffee. Oh,
me
yeah.
too,
Yep,
girl.
Pat
Me
and I
too.
had coffee a couple mornings with each other.
And Rock Hill Bigfoot Terry says, I've met so many good people while doing this. There are some
Mhm.
truly amazing people out there.
There are. There are.
So, out of all the experiences you had,
Mhm.
everything you've learned along the way, all the
Mhm.
mentors you had, what advice would you give to a new researcher coming into the field?
I would tell them to not go out and just start making calls and knocks and whatever they have seen other people do. I would tell them to make sure you're with somebody that is knowledgeable, someone that's been doing this for a very long time, that has had many experiences. Um, I would tell them to always, you know, be aware of your surroundings. Um, don't go off the trails. I mean, that's where you find a lot of good stuff, but there's a lot of trails that you can go on and literally you find prints on the trails. Like they use the trails just like we do. If you do go off a trip, make sure you have your GPS with you and you can pinpoint where you're going so you can make your way back. Don't ever just go all willy-nilly like off in the woods like I have done in the past. Just always ever dealt with people who habituate. Thankfully I have not. And that's another thing I would tell people not to do is habituate them. Because that can make them really angry if they're expecting something and it's not there. Hey Joe. Tell Joe that I was thinking about him on my hike when I thought I was gonna die because I used his walking stick as to battle through the mountain laurel and the pricker bushes.
Wow.
So his walking stick, I thought about him and I'm like, I'm so glad I got this stick from Joe.
What's that thing they use on Star Wars that lights up?
Yeah, that saber. Yeah, this stick I was using it to push through. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it was, I'm so glad I had that stick with me.
What is your favorite piece of equipment and why to use in the field?
My parabolic. I love my parabolic. You can hear things that you wouldn't normally hear. Like you can hear them walking or you can hear something walking through the woods. You can hear tree snaps. You can hear them step on sticks. The shuffling around. You can hear, I've heard chatter on my parabolic. And it helps you to pinpoint, because sometimes you're sitting there and you hear something and you're not really sure exactly which direction it came from. And that helps to pinpoint to like what direction it's coming from. So my parabolic got the most use out of it this past trip that I was on. I loved my parabolic. I loved it. I love my parabolic.
It magnifies the sound. It kind of, it's like a big shell if I'm thinking.
Yep. It magnifies everything. And I tell you what, parabolic, because they can't hide from that. Yes, you're very true, Brian. That's very true, Brian. They can't hide. They can't. You can hear them.
I can't believe anything gives old bear the goosebumps. Come on.
Oh, I heard lots of twigs breaking when they were walking. Like you could hear where they were walking to. And then it also at one point, literally, like I didn't hear any walking, but I kept hearing trees, like twigs snapping. And I think it was literally just standing there watching us, like just snapping, like bored. Because you know when they do tree twists, I think that's when they're standing there watching you and they're bored. Or they're watching something. They just stand there like a little kid, like needing a fidget device to play with. And I just heard just sticks breaking. That was it. Like they weren't moving. And just sticks were breaking.
I'll tell you what I get a lot of. Right now we have somewhere in, the western part of North Carolina, we have to go check out some property. But I get the same, it's like people that don't even know each other, they're giving you the same scenarios. They move on the property, they get screamed at. There is a healthy living tree that has a twist and bent over. Up to 20 chickens being missing that night, and so on and so on. But what I'm getting, to connecting the dots to each other. I don't know if you listen to Sasquatch Encounter Brigade. I always get their Johnny Two Bears, where we were talking about when he first moved on his property. It was almost like the Bigfoots were testing him to see how he would react, how his dogs would react. I'm getting the same thing from this property in Western North Carolina. And I think a lot, and this is just me, this is just, hey, baby, and this is just me, but I think they watch people, they study people, they study their habits, the way they react. They're going to throw a scream out there to see how you react. And they're going to say, do I want these people cohabitating on my property, because to them, you're coming on their property is new.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm getting from the field a lot. They watch people more so than we ever watch them, and they study us. Do I
I
walk
agree.
here? Am I reading your energy good? How's your dogs reacting? I've got between Johnny Two Bears and this guy in Western North Carolina almost the exact same thing going on. They're trying to decide, you know, are we going to tolerate each other? Are we going to cohabitate, or is it on?
Yeah.
You get a lot of that you feel like people are being tested on their own property, how they're going to react.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. I agree.
Let's see. I would love to have a FLIR too. Squatch and holler.
Oh, I was using Mike's thermal. Yeah. That's true, Brian. Very true. Electronics fail on you? Yes, I've had my electronics fail on me. I tried to get my binoculars out because they're night binoculars, and they were 100% charged, and I turned them on and they were down to 24%. I've had my stuff fail on me, but I would love to get a thermal, or it's like the monocular one that we were using that this weekend. It was Mike Hartman's, and I loved that thing, and I want one of those too. That was pretty cool, seeing you could see all the little critters walking around. And
yeah. Now yeah, Terry's been with us when we've had some pretty weird equipment. That was just a weird night, Rock Hill. That was just a weird night. Let's see. I don't, other than the equipment, what is your strong point? Because I think there's so many females out there, and this isn't a male-female thing. It really isn't. But there's so many females out there that really hold their own. I think everybody brings something to the table. What do you bring to the table?
I feel I'm kind of a safety aspect, because I'm one of the ones that wants to make sure everyone stays safe and nobody gets hurt. But I also feel with my empathicness, I've noticed it, starting to notice more the more that I'm out in the woods, the stronger it's kind of gotten. And I feel like I can sense things that other people can't. Just from what experiences I've had. I've been told that I'm a beacon to Bigfoots. I don't know if I would go that far, but some people think that I attract them.
Squash magnet. Squash magnet.
Thanks, Mary.
Yeah. Well, maybe Mary will come on the show and give let's talk about her book one day. I will put it out there for her. She's welcome to come on and share her adventures. And so is there anything that we hit on? Because I'm a scatterbrain, honey. I bounce off the walls. You can ask my husband. Is there anything that you wanted to hit on that you didn't have the opportunity?
Just the Pennsylvania Bigfoot Project. You don't have to live in Pennsylvania to be a member. If you want to join, you just look up Pennsylvania Bigfoot Project. And right now, due to, I don't remember what it is, but we had to change our name for the podcast to the Bigfoot Podcast. I think it'll be effective June 13th, but we're looking for more subscribers so we can go live. But yeah, those are the big two that I really kind of wanted to jump on: the Bigfoot Podcast and the Pennsylvania Bigfoot Project that I'm involved with. But that's all for that.
And I'm pretty sure everybody in here has already subscribed to the podcast. If they have not, please go subscribe. Let's support each other. That's what we do. That's the Bigfoot Podcast, also Pennsylvania Bigfoot Project. As I said, Tara is the Assistant State Director in Central Pennsylvania. You guys are willing to get out there, help anyone. You collect data. You're always out there, for anyone that wants to step up, even other groups that want, just wants to
Mhm.
coordinate with you and share
Yeah.
information with you. I think that's fabulous.
Mhm.
Before At the end of every podcast, I always give someone the opportunity to pay tribute to someone. Before we go into that, I want to one more time go over the podcast and the people that support me, because without them, I would not have a show. And Pennsylvania Bigfoot Project. Love you guys. The Bigfoot Podcast. So many of you have stepped up and supported the show. Hartman, Shane, everybody in that area just comes out and just that they've really supported me. You're on
Mhm.
here tonight. I love you. I love your energy. You're awesome. Western Ohio Bigfoot Research, Mason Dixon Bigfoot Paranormal Research, Old Bears Den, Dirt Road Bigfoot, Medoc Bigfoot, Rock Hill, South Carolina. We had squashing. I always say they were picking at me the other day on how I say squashing. Squashing Holler is here. Flat Rock. You guys need to check Flat Rock out on Facebook.
Mhm.
Everybody that's just jumped in, thank you. I would like, Tara, for you to give a tribute to anyone you want to give to, or as many people as you would like to pay a tribute to. Do you have someone in mind?
I don't have anyone in particular in mind, but, I, I mean, I really wanna give thanks to Mary Fabian and Mike Hartman for being my mentors and for taking me under their wing. There's a whole bunch of other people that really, have become super, super great friends with myself, and there's so many people that, I think about all the time, and, I'm glad that I get to see everyone on Facebook and what they're doing, but I just wanna say thank you to everybody that I've encountered and thank them for, the little bit of info, or either little or great amount or whatever, but that someone's already always left something with me, to remember, and, I just wanna thank everybody for that and for being such wonderful people and my supporting myself, and, I think that's everything. Yeah. Mhm.
Squash and Holler said he's going to subscribe to
Okay, wonderful. Thanks,
Tara.
Roger.
Yeah, I wanted to get this out here. Tara says you always have a door open in Louisiana. I want to go too. A
Me
blue-eyed North
too.
said that. You always have a
Thank you.
door. You've been a wonderful guest, and I appreciate you coming on, and I love your
Thank you
energy.
for having me.
Absolutely. And do not forget to look up Penny Rumble. Her information is under the show. And
Okay,
hopefully we'll get
okay.
Mary on, and maybe we'll just have some female researchers jump up there and just have a free for all and put their thoughts out there. And I appreciate you. I
Yeah,
appreciate what you do for the people, and I appreciate your stories. Appreciate you being candid about your experience from last weekend.
you're welcome.
All right. Thank you. Let's see. Blue Eyes said, come on. We'll get her on too. So
Yes,
it'll be a female Bigfoot researchers date thing night. How about that?
that sounds great.
All right, everyone. You have a good evening, and thank you once again, Tara.
You're welcome. Thanks, everyone.
Bye, Manny.